This station wagon could make most sports cars look terrible, and you've probably never even heard of it. Or how about a GTO wagon so rare, it was never meant to be sold to the public? Back in the 1960s and 70s, automakers combined the power of muscle cars with the practicality of wagons. These weren't just family cars, they were muscle cars in disguise. But what made them so unique? These are the 5 rarest American V8 muscle wagons ever built. First up, at number 5, we've got a true icon from the early 1970s, the 1972 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser 455. Now, most people remember the Vista Cruiser as a classic family car, with its unique raised roof and iconic skylights that gave kids something to stare at on long road trips. But what most don't know is that this wagon had some serious power under the hood. This wasn't just any wagon, it was a muscle car in disguise. The 455 cubic inch V8 engine packed an estimated 250 to 270 horsepower, which was pretty wild for a station wagon. But this was during a period when the SAE net horsepower rating system was being introduced, and figures could vary. This engine wasn't just big enough to tow a boat, it was fast enough to leave many sports cars in the dust. But it wasn't just about power. Those skylights made the car feel open and airy inside, giving everyone an awesome view of the sky. Road trips in this car were anything but boring. The raised roof wasn't just a design quirk either. It gave the car more headroom, making the interior feel even bigger. The Vista Cruiser was the perfect mix of family-friendly utility and muscle car fun, offering space for everyone while still having enough horsepower to peel out at the stoplight. But here's the thing, Oldsmobile didn't make a ton of these. If you're lucky enough to find a 1972 Vista Cruiser 455 today, you're looking at something truly special. They weren't mass-produced, and even few are still in good condition. So if you've got one sitting in your garage, just know that its value has shot up, and collectors are ready to pay top dollar for this rare blend of nostalgia and muscle. Next up at number 4, the 1973 Chevelle SS454 wagon. If you're into muscle cars, you've probably heard of the Chevelle. But what many don't know is that Chevy also made a wagon version, and it was far from ordinary. This beast could be equipped with a 454 cubic inch turbojet V8 engine, cranking out an estimated 245 horsepower and an unbelievable 400 pound-feet of torque. For a family car, that was seriously next level. In 1973, the Chevelle got a bulkier look with bigger bumpers. But don't let the exterior fool you. Underneath, this wagon had the heart of a true muscle car. Only about 1,500 of these cars were ever made, and of those, only around 70 came with the 454 engine. Now that's rare. And if you were super lucky, you could get it with a 4-speed manual transmission, giving you the full muscle car experience while hauling groceries. This was the ultimate sleeper. No one expected a station wagon to perform like that. And the best part? The Chevelle SS wagon could seat the whole family, making it the perfect muscle car for dads who needed space but still wanted some serious power. But like many wagons of its time, most Chevelle SS454 wagons were used as daily drivers, which means that very few are still around today. If you're lucky enough to find one, you've got something truly special. It's one of the rarest muscle wagons ever built, and collectors who appreciate speed and practicality are always on the lookout for one of these rare gems. Coming up next at number 3, it's the 1969 Pontiac GTO Wagon. This thing is a unicorn in the muscle car world. Everyone knows the GTO as one of the original muscle cars. But did you know that Pontiac also built a prototype wagon version? That's right, it wasn't even officially sold to the public. Some Pontiac executives wanted a muscle car with enough space for the family, so they made a handful of GTO wagons. And when we say a handful, we mean it. Only a few of these cars were ever made, making it one of the rarest muscle cars out there. Under the hood, the GTO wagon was just as powerful as the coupe. You could get it with the legendary Ram Air 4 engine, which was one of the most powerful V8s Pontiac ever built. With an estimated 370 horsepower, this car meant business, even if it looked just like another wagon on the outside. What's wild is how low-key this car was. While the GTO coupe had all the flashy muscle car looks, the GTO wagon was much more subtle. It didn't scream muscle car, but if you pulled up to a stoplight next to a sports car, they'd be in for a real surprise. This wagon had the heart of a true muscle car, wrapped up in a family-friendly body, making it the ultimate sleeper. Today, finding a 1969 GTO wagon is next to impossible. But if you ever come across one, it's like discovering the holy grail of muscle wagons. Car collectors would pay top dollar, especially if it came with the Ram Air 4 engine. Now, we've got to take a look at this luxury muscle car coming in at number 2. It's the 1970 Buick Estate Wagon 455. Buick wasn't really known for wild muscle cars, but they definitely made something special with this wagon. It came with a massive 455 cubic inch V8, cranking out an estimated 370 horsepower, not to mention an insane 500 pound-feet of torque. Seriously, more than enough power to go toe-to-toe with any muscle car of its time. But here's the thing, Buick only made this wagon for 1 year. After 1970, they switched the estate wagon to a heavier chassis. But for that one magical year, the B-body chassis gave this wagon the speed and agility to really show off its muscle. And it wasn't just about the raw power. This car came loaded with luxury features like power windows, air conditioning, and even traction control, which were top-notch options back in the day. What makes the 1970 Buick Estate Wagon 455 really stand out is that it was a muscle car in disguise. From the outside, it looked like a regular family car, but under the hood, it was a beast. It had enough space for the whole family, but the power to leave sports cars in the dust. Plus, with all that luxury, it made long drives a breeze. With only 20,000 units ever produced, you might still find a 1970 Buick Estate Wagon out there. But finding one with the original bells and whistles in good condition? Good luck. And finally, at number 1, we've got the 1969 AMC Rebel Wagon, the Machine. Now, AMC might not have had the same name recognition as Ford or Chevy, but they did build some seriously cool cars. And the Machine was one of their finest. This wasn't just a family wagon, it was a muscle car under the hood. This monster came with a 390 cubic inch V8 that cranked out an estimated 340 horsepower. For a station wagon, that was absolutely insane. This engine gave the Machine enough power to go head-to-head with any muscle car of its time, and the styling? Bold to say the least. Some models came with red, white, and blue racing stripes, proudly showing off its American roots. With fewer than 1,000 of these wagons ever made, the 1969 AMC Rebel Wagon the Machine is one of the rarest muscle wagons on the planet. It wasn't just about the looks, this car had serious performance to back it up, giving drivers the perfect blend of muscle and practicality. Today, finding one of these is a collector's dream. It's not only one of the rarest muscle wagons ever built, but owning one is like holding on to a piece of muscle car history. And there you have it, folks, 5 of the rarest American V8 muscle wagons ever made. These cars didn't just haul the entire family, they hauled on the streets too, whether you're a die-hard muscle car fan or just love rare classics. These wagons are a unique part of American automotive history. Which one of these wagons is your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for even more content on rare and classic cars.
Storybox Audio.